According to Forbes, resume.io, an online tool for AI-generated resumes, says that only 2% of resumes make it past the initial screening. Then Forbes continues on to say, or ask the question, what are you doing right now to make sure you get past that threshold? Well, I hope the answer is networking your ass off. Now, I'm all for using AI to support your job search, but the solution to finding your next career opportunity is not continuing to optimize your resume so you get through the resume screeners. It is going around the screeners in the first place. My name is Marianne Lombardi. I am a career coach and the founder of Find Your Fit. And in today's video, we are going to put your resume in perspective. We will get into the real value of that resume and how to optimize it. Also, when to use it, and more importantly, when not to rely on it. So let's get started. Here is another point of data to keep in mind. According to Indeed, hiring managers spend 6 to 7 seconds looking at your resume. So we've got 2% of resumes getting through the initial screening for 6 to 7 seconds of a hiring manager's time. Well, that sucks. Let's be real. Resumes are an incomplete way of measuring our skills and value as potential employees, yet they are the standard practice and too often serve as a hiring manager's first impression. They are fed into some applicant tracking system, right? ATS, which kicks out unqualified applicants based on whatever pre-programmed criteria exists, and then spits out the qualified one for the person weeding through all of those applications to spend their 6 to 7 seconds on. Now, for much of my career, my resume was this patchwork of experience that didn't even make sense to me. And so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to make sense to somebody else who is reading it cold, right? And it read like this Mad Lib story, right? Played between me and like the Magic 8 Ball with like nouns and verbs and adjectives. And they're all bouncing around each other, trying to find a place that makes sense. I had built my own companies, worked for universities, held executive positions in city government. I launched programs, launched divisions, rebuilt institutions for my employers. I taught college. I even worked for a talent agent. My skills made me agile. My impact was clear, but none of it fit neatly into specific job titles or looked cohesive on a piece of paper. So my confidence was high in my ability, but this Mad Lib resume that I had couldn't get me in front of the right people. But what could get me there were my relationships. Now, my experience is not unique. Many of us have eclectic work histories. We have switched careers. We've zigged instead of zagged like we were supposed to. We've taken career breaks to raise kids or follow a spouse overseas, or maybe we just felt disillusioned with what we're doing and we jump into an entirely new thing. Trying to capture all of that, add the necessary keywords, and get through those ATS, hoping to earn more than 6 to 7 seconds of attention kind of feels impossible. Now, we certainly need to try, like resumes aren't going away anytime soon, but we can shift our priorities. And like that popular kid in school whom everybody always fawned over, stop giving your resume, so much attention. The resume is just one of many ways to showcase your impact and experience, but certainly not the best way. The solution is not to game the system with hours of rewrites and strategically placing the right words throughout the resume. It is to demote the resume from its role as the first impression. Those words on the page are one-dimensional and limited in their ability to tell the full story of who you are and the impact that you deliver, so we got to stop letting it. Now remember, you are more than what is on that piece of paper. Your experience has value way beyond those job titles or the keywords, and those keywords of others don't define the quality you bring to an opportunity. You are so much more than only 6 or 7 seconds can capture. So let's get into the real value of your resume. So your resume has 3 main roles. First, it serves as a highlight reel of your professional experience for the hiring manager or for your people, the people in your network, to refer back to. It is your career spark notes, right? It's not the whole story, just the spark notes. Second, it illustrates your career progression. No matter how roundabout that path is, your career story is going to paint the full picture of your path, but the resume is going to provide these mile markers of that story. Now, third, their resume serves as a reference point for interviews. It helps interviewers create relevant questions around your experience, and if they're good at their job, create questions that dig into what is not on your resume that may relate to the job you are being interviewed for. Now, Here are 3 ways not to use your resume, all right? First, you want to avoid using your resume as that first impression. Ideally, when a leader or a hiring manager receives your resume, it should be after they have already heard about you from someone in your network, or you have met them before at an event, or because you might work together. You want someone to ask for your resume after speaking or connecting with you in some way. Your relationships are the best and most important first impression you can leverage to get a job. Second, your resume should not be the only thing that communicates who you are and what you do. Your digital presence, specifically on LinkedIn, and your network should, and also your work. They all should communicate about who you are and what you do. Now, LinkedIn is a great place to share all of those things, as well as the impact that you deliver, and your interests, and your expertise, and your accomplishments. It is not your digital resume, though. It is this living and breathing place to create this 3-dimensional picture of who you are and what you care about. But keep in mind, for all your digital presence, what you post online matters. You have the right to be and to do whatever and whomever you want, but before you post everything, remember hiring managers and recruiters will find it. All right, just keep that in mind. Now, I'll go into detail in another video about how to get your network to sing your praises, and stay tuned for that, okay? But regarding your work, communicating the value you have as an employee, this comes from making sure people know your role and the work you do. Good old-fashioned self-promotion. Now, self-promotion doesn't have to feel gross. In another video, I'm going to go into detail about how to self-promote without feeling scummy, so stay tuned for that as well. Now, third, your resume shouldn't be where you spend most of your time. Think of this as a cost-benefit analysis. Ask yourself, what is the return on your investment of time and energy that you have put into rewriting your resume and cover letters, incorporating all the relevant keywords, and applying to jobs? How many responses, interviews, have you received from that work? Out of those responsive/interviews, how many offers have you received? How does that balance feel, right? Time in to offers out. It's time to reallocate some of that time towards networking, self-promotion, and a new job search strategy that's going to rely on opportunity research, your relationships, and those are going to catapult your job opportunities. So let's recap for a second. Today, we have talked about how necessary it is to demote your resume from being the first impression, and how the resume is great as a record of your career highlights and as a reference point for interviews, but it should not be the only thing that communicates who you are and what you do. It's time to reallocate some of the time you're spending on that and give that time to networking and self-promotion and a new job search strategy. So, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel to learn how you can land your dream job and so much more. And I'm going to see you in the next video.